Ellery, I am.
The fact that the Gospel of Philip has a lot of nonsense in it, such as the supposed deaths of Adam, doesn't have anything to do with what we are dealing with right now. Yes, the Gnostic library contains a lot of nonsense references, such as God is a man-eater, or you saw Christ, you became Christ, you saw the Father, you shall become the Father, or placing the resurrection before the death of Yeshua. They are not Christian writings, but heretical writings. And we don't appeal to those texts at all. This whole thing started because Gomer was going around claiming that the Nag Hamadi Library doesn't contain anything about the crucifixion, so the New Testament stands alone in an attempt to prove that the New Testament has no credibility. Not that the New Testament needs the Gnostic text for its credibility, but we have proven that the Gnostic writings do speak of the death, resurrection, and ascension of the Lord. That is the sole reason for us bringing the Nag Hamadi documents up. The real question is, when does Gomerozdubar finally admit that he has been lying about everything he has said on Paltalk about the Nag Hamadi Library, and all the claims he has made about having read serious scholarly works?
I've never heard any of that shit on TV. Have you guys? No. I don't think you're going to find it. Because they just don't do it. Oh, why did they kill those people in the Gaza? Well, you're going to have to find another reason, aren't you? Another reason. It's because they hate Islam. Maybe. Could be, yeah, could be. But when you see Muslims killing other Muslims on a street corner for just...
We don't care about narratives. As if something isn't historically solid when there is only a small reference to it instead of an elaborate narrative. If you claim that there is nothing in the Nag Hamadi Library about the crucifixion, then every reference to the death, burial, and resurrection we find in the Nag Hamadi proves you wrong. It doesn't matter if it's small or elaborate. As I said before, a small reference in the Quran is enough for you to appeal to the Quran to support your position that the crucifixion never took place. Yet when it comes to small references elsewhere that confirm the crucifixion, all of a sudden those don't count as proof. Why? What also needs to be stressed is that after Gomerozdubar boldly had claimed repeatedly that the Nag Hamadi documents don't have anything about the crucifixion and hoped that no one would check his claim out, Gomer, of whom we now can safely say that he's accustomed to lying through his teeth, says the following about the Apocryphon of James, one of the Nag Hamadi documents.
Again, there is no reference. You have provided nothing that indicates Jesus was crucified on a stick from a proof text. You can use Eisenberg's translations and commentaries. Nothing there, sir. All interpretation. The Apocrypha of James, you see, Roy Olson, we can't use this because this is actually one of the early writings that are part of the New Testament compendium and then rejected. That we might as well just use the Gospel of Mark or the Gospel of Luke or anything that relies on this New Testament manuscripts.
Now wait a second. Wasn't it the same Gomer that said that the Nag Hamadi documents were independent from the New Testament documents? Let's see what he said in the Answering Christianity room on Paltalk, where Gomer has gone on record as an admin saying the following.
Which historian agrees that Jesus died on the cross? Which historian? Which historian? Name a historian. Name one. Just name one. And then we'll discuss why he believes so. Because most of the historians accept something called Rasiata ex eventu. Rasiata ex eventu is basically called after the events. It is historians that basically rely on the New Testament for information. That's all it is. They're using the paradigm of the New Testament to permeate writings about the crucifixion. Yet the crucifixion is not in any primary Christian literature outside the New Testament. This is something I want Muslims and Christians to realize. The crucifixion of Jesus is not in any primary Christian literature that is independent of the New Testament. It is not in the Nag Hamadi. It is not in the Gospels of Thomas, Philip, the Damascus document. It is not in any independent Christian literature. It is not in any primary Christian literature that is independent of the New Testament. It is not in the Nag Hamadi. It is not in the Gospels of Thomas, Philip, the Damascus document. It is not in any independent Christian literature.
Doesn't this make the Nag Hamadi, including the Apocryphon of James, independent from the New Testament? Then why does Gomerozdubar now say that the Apocryphon of James is dependent on the New Testament? And where does Gomer get the info from that the Apocryphon of James was something that was part of the New Testament at first and then rejected later? All inferences, I guess. Oh well, that's it. I think that Gomerozdubar has done enough damage to himself than he could ever hope that anyone could do to him. I'll just let the clip run out and show you how he just keeps lying and lying.
Going out to get a loaf of bread, maybe some milk or some water, or get their teeth fixed, or go pick up their dry cleaning. Then the next thing you know, the whole fucking neighborhood is blown to hell and back, and there's anywhere from 20 to 100 people dead and injured. In the name of what? In the name of 7-Eleven? In the name of Islam? In the name of Allah? Or in the name of just sheer madness? You can't address this. You can't turn around and look at yourself because you're in the box. All your walls have the same writing on it, so no matter which way you face, you see the same shit over and over and over. Death to the infidel. The question is how do you Muslims call other Muslims infidel? Well, he doesn't support me in the local tribal clans. He's against me. And I'm trying to become the warlord of the new tribal clan leadership here. So the bastard has to be a kafir. But, he's got a beard, a mosque. He's been praying. Everybody likes him. I don't care. He's still a damn kafir. You guys are in a hell of a position over there. And see, we can move this out completely in any place. I mean, you can see Muslims at each other's throats in Western nations. You guys ever seen that? You can go up on YouTube and see where these guys are actually broke into, fisticuffs throughout regions. Muslims don't reserve their anger just for non-Muslims. They like sharing this around with everyone. And they get away with it. And they don't expect you to ever ask them these questions. What are you doing to other Muslims? We're just purging the ranks, brother. We gotta have the right Muslims. There's only going to be one group of Muslims that are going to go to Jinnah. And according to the Bible, the Quran and the Hadith and the great prophet, only one group is going. And you know what group that is? My group. Only my group. The rest of you bastards are kafirs, and we're going to have to